How's it going there, buddy? I'm Steve and welcome back. So tonight I'm going to do something a little bit different. A lot of you may know that I have memberships to Regal and AMC, and I go to the movie theaters all the time. I do some out of theater reactions sometimes, but I noticed something this past weekend for Thanksgiving weekend for and especially like Black Friday. I noticed that the crowds were a little bit larger than normal, and obviously there were some good movies out there that drew a lot of kids and a lot of older people as well. So it was just a mix of got a lot of people to go to the movie theater, which is really nice to see. I noticed there was on Black Friday that there was I went to one movie theater that like maybe even on a good day on a Saturday afternoon they may have like 50 cars in the parking lot. And this particular day they had at least 200 cars in the parking lot, and some of the cars were wrapped around the back of the building, which I've never seen that before. So obviously there were some big titles that were released, and apparently there was a report today that Black Friday was like the second biggest box office in U.S. history, which is I guess the last time was like 5 years ago in 2019 when Avengers Endgame was released. So that was really nice to see, and obviously like I said, there were some really good movies released. But I'm going to rank the 10 movies I saw in the theater in the month of November. One of them was actually the 11th movie I saw was Godzilla -1. So I'm not including that one because that was a re-release from a 2023 release. So didn't include that. But if I did include that, that might be like number one on my list. Okay, so coming in at number 10, I really wish this one would have been a lot better. I had really high hopes for the movie. It's directed by Robert Zemeckis, and the movie is called Here. This one's obviously starring Tom Hanks and Robin Wright, and has Paul Bettany and Kelly Riley. This one it's actually co-written by Eric Roth, the same guy that did Forrest Gump. He co-wrote that movie with Robert Zemeckis back then. So that was like 30 years ago. So like I said, I had really high hopes for the movie. It's based on a book, so I don't know if I'd totally blame Zemeckis for this, but it's the way the storytelling was told. It's just it jumps back and forth and time, that kind of thing. I don't want to spoil the whole movie or anything, but it kind of disappointed me that it didn't focus more on Tom Hanks and Robin Wright. But the movie could have been a lot better. I thought some of the performances were pretty good in the movie, but just the way the story is told kind of ruined it for me. All right, so at number 9, I wish I could kind of rank this one a little bit higher, but there are some kind of flaws to the movie, but I think it's still fun. The movie is Red One. This one's actually directed by Jake Kasdan, and it's just really interesting. I found this out before doing this video that his father is Lawrence Kasdan. If you know, like he wrote like Empire Strikes Back, and he directed The Big Chill. So this one he's got some good pedigree there. But this one's obviously starring Dwayne Johnson as Chris Evans, Captain America, Lucy Liu, J.K. Simmons is in the movie as well. Obviously, he's like one of the main stars of the movie, even though he's not really in the movie, really very much in the movie. But this one, maybe some of the CGI might be kind of a little bit cheap in some ways in the movie. I think the story is kind of dark in some ways, but I think it's still a fun movie. It's kind of a box office bomb, mainly because of the Rotten Tomatoes score. I think it's kind of ruined the movie, which is can happen sometimes, but. I still think people should check this out at least on streaming, or I think it's still in theaters now. It should be based on, it's basically a Christmas movie. So I still say the movie's kind of fun, but it kind of keep your expectations kind of low. Okay, so at number 8, I think a lot of people would rank this one a little bit higher than I am, but the movie is Moana 2. This one's actually a sequel from a 2016 movie. I don't know why they waited that long to make a sequel, but the director is David Derrick Jr., and obviously has Dwayne Johnson, and I'm not even going to pronounce the girl's name that does Moana, but I thought this movie was fun. This is something that it's going to attract a lot of younger people in the theater. There were a lot of kids in the movie. This is actually the day that I went to the Regal that had like the parking lot that was packed. So this and some other movies are out right now are big reasons why people got out to the movie theater and enjoyed themselves. All right, so at number 7, I think a lot of people would have this one a lot higher. It's from director John Cho, and the movie is Wicked. Obviously, if you're a fan of the musical, I think you'll like this movie a lot. I think it's definitely has I noticed there was like a big female crowd for this movie. So I've never seen the musical. I don't know the music at all in the movie. So I actually really like the story to this movie, and like the third act quite a bit. And obviously, I think a lot of people didn't even know this was going to be part 1. So I can't wait to watch the next one. But obviously it's starring Cynthia Erivo, has Ariana Grande, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh. So that's how I feel on it. I think a lot of people, like I said, would have this one a lot higher. But for me, the music kind of ruined it for me a little bit. But obviously, a lot of people are going to see this movie, and it's going to make $1 billion, and it should. Okay, so at number 6 from director Edward Berger, the movie is Conclave. This one was a real surprise. I grew up Catholic, so I kind of relate to this story a little bit. It's from obviously it has Ray Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow, Isabella Rossellini. I just couldn't believe this cast. So I think this movie's not going to appeal to everybody because it deals with like Catholic priests and the Vatican, that kind of thing. So it may kind of turn some people off, but I really enjoyed it. Okay, so at number 5, I think some people will rank this one a little bit lower. It's from a director, Ridley Scott, and the movie is Gladiator 2. This one's this was kind of a surprise. Obviously, it's a sequel to the 2000 movie. It actually is supposed to take place like 16 years later. I think a lot of people kind of complained about the CGI in the movie, but obviously it's starring Paul Mescal. First time I've ever seen a movie from him, even though I know he's been nominated for an Oscar before. But obviously it's starring, co-starring Denzel Washington, has Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn. Overall, I think, like I said, the CGI I think would kind of turn some people off. That's one of the big complaints from the movie. Some people didn't think that there needed to be like a sequel to this. They think Gladiator is like a masterpiece in a lot of ways, and they're kind of disappointed that there is a sequel to this. But I enjoyed it. I'm probably going to buy it on 4K, someday anyway when it gets released next year. All right, so at number 4, this one was a real surprise. It's actually written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. The movie's called A Real Pain. I had seen this trailer like earlier this year, but obviously it's co-starring Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin. Obviously they play cousins in the movie. It has Jennifer Grey. She's obviously people know her from Dirty Dancing, and she's kind of famous for having a nose job that basically kind of ruined her career. But she's really good in the movie. Basically the cousins go to like Europe and kind of sightsee basically, and kind of get some of their issues out. And I enjoy this one a lot. Like I said, when I saw the trailer, I thought it's definitely a movie I want to check out. It wasn't. I don't know if it had a huge box office or was really shown in a ton of movie theaters, but I think everyone should definitely check it out on like streaming or physical media. Okay, so at number 3, this one's actually co-directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. The movie is called Heretic. This one's starring Hugh Grant. It has Sylvie Thatcher, Chloe East. This one's basically like a horror movie, but it's not extremely scary. It's really more eerie than anything else. And really, the trailer really didn't give a lot away, so it was a real surprise to see this movie. And I'm not going to compare it to any of the movies, but I think people, it may still be in theaters. If it's not, it should be on streaming or physical media before too long, and everyone should definitely check it out. Okay, so number 2, this one's directed by Sean Baker, and the movie's called Anora. This one is a real surprise to me. This is one of my friends on YouTube. His name's Steve Harold. He has a music channel. And he had seen this movie. I think this actually got released in October, but I'm not sure if it had like a wide release until maybe like November. But it's actually starring Mikey Madison. Have you ever seen like Scream 5 or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? But this one was a real surprise. I think the movie is maybe a little bit too long, especially like the third act or maybe like the end of the second act. It kind of goes a little bit too long. It's kind of like a chase kind of movie, like kind of a sort of like looking for somebody basically that's important to the story, and so they take forever kind of finding this person. But overall, I really enjoy this. Sean Baker, he did a movie called Take Out. You can get it on the Criterion Collection. So I really recommend people check this out, at least on streaming or physical media. Okay, so number 1, this one's one I saw last weekend. It was the most surprising. It's the one that actually, I looked up the score on Rotten Tomatoes before I saw it because I had not heard anything about this movie. But it's actually directed by Clint Eastwood, and the movie's called Juror Number 2. Real surprise here. Obviously, Clint Eastwood's like 94 years old. Amazing he's still directing movies. I think he's retired now, officially. This one's starring Nicholas Hoult, Toni Collette, has J.K. Simmons, Kiefer Sutherland's in some of the movie as well. But like I said, real surprising. I thought the pacing was really good in this movie. Like I said, I didn't know anything about this movie. Like I said, I had not seen the trailer. It was just something I just happened to look it up. I wanted to see a movie this last weekend, and just happened to kind of stumble on this one. But I enjoyed it a lot, so that's what I have at number 1. Okay, everybody, so I really appreciate you watching this video. Please leave in the comments. Let me know how you feel about some of these movies. Let me know how you would kind of rank these. Obviously, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that. Please put a thumbs up on this video, and everybody have a great one.